Welcome to PNRShow, Season 6, Episode 4.
5.
5, 6. It just keeps going. Yeah, right, 5. Stoked in the Henhouse. That's what I'm calling this one.
I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over strife. I'd prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager.
Good evening, everybody out there on the internet. It's the Pint of No Return Show, your semi-weekly, quasi-weekly, pseudo-weekly podcast of beer and buds, talking about what's coming up in our brains, our little tiny minds, and drinking beer while we do it. This week, we're going to start digging in to the Henhouse with the first on our list, which is the Stoked Single Hop Pale Ale. As well, we're going to be doing our Oscar picks for the year.
Just in time.
Yes. We're a little more timely this year than last year. Last year, I think we did the Oscar picks like 6 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah, and then forgot about them.
Yeah, and then forgot about them. So the climactic resolution was kind of dulled. So we're doing it right up on the edge there. So joining me as always is Keith and Gary, and I am Rob, and you are listening to the Pint of No Return Show. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Hi. This is my new thing. I'm going to make silly faces at the camera.
Yeah.
That's great for the audio listener.
That is fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, it's hard to say if we have more audio listener or video watcher.
Yeah, it could be the same person.
I like how you put that. I like how you put that singular.
We know our audience.
There couldn't be plural.
Could be.
Well, the frightening part is it's possibly the same person.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, what is new? What's new in your lives? Let's kind of catch everybody up. You don't have to do any heavy topics, but anything fun and exciting in the lives of podcasters. Splint is off. Look at that. He's a new man. He's got a new hand.
Yeah.
He's like Steve Austin. We can rebuild him.
That's about it. I got you guys already knew about the dog, so
We got a new dishwasher.
that's
Hey.
Yeah.
Keith's family got a new dishwasher, and it's now filled with Pampered Chef products.
It is actually filled with Pampered Chef. It's a new dishwasher, and we've named it Sam.
Sam. Okay.
It's the smartest dishwasher we've ever had, which is not to say a whole lot with our quality of dishwashers we've had, but this one definitely communicates more than anything else, including ending in a song, which apparently I've done some research on, and the song when it's over that it sings is some sort of German trout song that's common to Samsung for some reason. Japanese company or Korean company, I don't know where Samsung is, but they're not German. Yeah, they're not German, so I don't know where the German comes from. But
Samsung is a Korean, I believe.
Yeah, Korean.
South Korea.
Yeah, so the Korean company
uses the good Korea.
Uses a German song to let you know that the dishes are done.
Yeah,
very pleasant.
When you were saying it communicates better than anything, including, I thought you were going to say my kids.
So
there are moments.
By the way, speaking of the Olympics, if you out there are looking for an act or some entertainment to book for your next party, whether that be Pampered Chef or birthday, bar mitzvah, whatever. Tupperware is very nice as well. I hear that the North Korean cheerleaders are available. The Olympics being over, they are now tasked with going back to that horrible, pathetic excuse for a country. So maybe give them a call. I'm sure they'd be happy to come out, maybe to a Chuck E. Cheese or a Discovery Zone and do a couple of numbers for you.
Wasn't there an article on them saying that they're actually sex slaves or something like that? Pulled out of that just to do the Olympics.
I hadn't heard that. I did see the one unfortunate video of the North Korean cheerleaders all sitting, of course, on their bleachers with their hands perfectly folded in their laps, and I guess a American figure skater was skating and did a rather nice triple axel or something, and one of one of the North Korean cheerleaders, perhaps absolutely not knowing who exactly was skating, but seeing something nice, kind of starts clapping for the American figure skater, only to have her I guess her imprisoned friend next to her kind of alarmedly jab her in the ribs to say, no,
wrong skater.
Yes.
Yeah, no clapping.
So
They're going to throw you down a hole.
According to the Daily Mail, which is a UK, it's highly esteemed newspaper, they are saying that North Korean cheerleaders are in fact sex slaves for Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
But listen, they look so amazing, and they do such wonderful routines. And Kim Jong-un's sister, oh, fantastic! I mean, could the world press not gush over the product of a dictatorial regime more than they did these last 2 weeks?
Yeah. They wanted something nice to say about somebody in North Korea, so
yeah.
I want something nice to say about beer right now. That's what I think, though.
Keith wants to move to beer, so
I'm just showing you how stoked I am for this beer.
Stoked for the beer.
Upside down.
All right, so this comes to us courtesy of Gary.
It does.
We're coming from the Henhouse Brewing Company in Santa Rosa, California, and we're doing the Stoked Single Hop Pale Ale.
So Henhouse originated in Petaluma, and they moved to Santa Rosa because they were expanding. So they brew a lot of really good beers now because they got more space.
If I didn't have my mouth watering to the point of drooling over the smell of this, I just want to smell it over all night.
Yeah, it does smell really good.
It's a very cloudy pour, very citrusy hops aroma.
Yeah. So
what is the single hop that's
making me nervous here?
It's a rotating single hop pale ale. Each batch is made with a different hop, allowing them to experiment, but each batch is made with the same malt and yeast. So it doesn't actually say what the hop is on this one.
What's a batch? Define batch. It's whatever is produced this year,
whatever tank.
Well, they can't produce every beer all the time, so they probably have to, this week we're brewing Stoked.
Oh, it's on the bottom of the can.
Mosaic
11618.
Okay, so you're saying that there is a possibility that we could have gotten different hops. We didn't in this case, but
because I got them out of these all came out of the same 4-pack.
Gotcha.
It does say that you're supposed to drink it within 21 days, so we're a little behind because we've been lacking on our shows. So
yeah, and they've some of them have transported 3,000 miles to Keith and 1,500 miles to me. So we're looking at, on first glances, this thing is kind of looks like 3 Mile Island water. It's got a very cloudy.
It's a hazy IPA.
Yeah. But
a hazy ale is a good ale.
Hazy.
All right.
So the clarified ales
we've got citrus hops coming off it in droves. So the guys are about to bust a gut if they can't drink this. So here we go. Prost. Henhouse Stoked.
Oh, that's good. That's like a really good thirst quenching beer.
Oh, man, that's a great pale ale.
It is. Rob, you look like you're sipping that thing pretty good there.
No, not really.
Not chugging it.
Still at the top.
So I picked a bunch of beers to bring to ship to you guys, and I wanted to do a few Henhouse because I'm really enjoying their beers lately, and I didn't want to do all IPAs, and they're brewing some really good IPAs. So I opted for one of their pale ales because that's a fairly popular, well-known variety of beer that's not an IPA. So out of the box of beers I shipped, this is a pale ale because I recognize that Rob likes to have some variety. So this one's kind of for you, Rob.
Great. Great.
He's thrilled.
Yep.
He's thrilled.
So
Rob, the great thing is if we just continue to do this beer as it keeps experimenting with hops, maybe we can eliminate all the hops you don't like.
We could. We could do that. Next batch that comes out, I will check the bottom of the can.
So yeah, so folks, the Stoked Henhouse Stoked, I wouldn't bother with it. I'm taking care of it for you. The citrus hops that comes in off of the nose is very, very citrusy hops, but it also, when you drink it, you get the pine, florally, whatever it is, hops as well in there. In fact, I would dare say that the pine floral hops are more powerful than the. Well, I guess you're saying it's only one single hop, so
it is a single hop.
So
all the flavoring,
all of that
is coming
so citrus.
from...
So the citrus smell, but then kind of the floral piney taste. And
I think the 610 people on Untapped would disagree with you, Rob, but it's just me.
it's okay. They've been wrong before, so that's no problem.
Nothing if not consistent.
I mean, when has a social media platform ever been wrong?
Never. And, you know, the funny thing was, I truly was like, okay, I got to do something that's not an IPA. Oh, this is a pale ale. I'll grab it. It really, truly was, and it tastes just like an IPA.
Yeah, it does not taste like a pale ale.
Mm-mm.
Not even a little bit. It's an IPA.
This is like an East Coast hazy IPA. This is what
absolutely
this is.
an IPA.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do ratings at the end, right? We're going to watch Rob drink this for the whole show.
Yeah. Well, you're yeah. You can watch. I can kind of put my full glass. I can sit my full glass here, maybe up high, and you can just watch it sit there at the same level for an hour. But we have stuff to do. We have stuff to do.
We should really calculate how much money we've wasted sending beer to Texas.
From Jeremy, according to Jeremy, it's provided you some of your
true
best moments.
It is.
It's worth
it's worth its weight in gold. All right, so we've got some Oscars this year. Last year, when we did our Oscar picks, basically what we did is just went through the list, and each of us we ran off the names for each category. Each of us picked one from that list. It could be duplicates, obviously, and some of us agreed, some of us didn't agree, and then at the end we kind of looked and said, who was closest to each other, who was the farthest apart, who had the best guesses, who had the worst guesses. So what we thought we'd do this year is we would do a draft, like a football draft. And guys, if you don't see, I'd see Jeremy's on there, but Keith, if you want to go into the Google Drive, I actually have the spreadsheet there, so you can look at it with us together.
Oh, I'm looking at it in Slack, but
perfect. Well, that's just fine. So what we're going to do is for each category, we'll set an order. That order will rotate as we go through the categories. So, for example, the first category, say Gary would go first, I would go second, then Keith would go third. Each of us will get to pick one of the movies from that list, or actors, or whatever it is, and then the next person will go, and we'll have to choose from the remaining nominees. So once that movie or actor is chosen, it's off the board. Okay, so then we go to the next category, and we'll rotate the order, so it's kind of balances itself out and evens out. You'll get one pick per category until we come to the last one, which will be Best Picture. For Best Picture, there are 10 nominees. Since there are so many nominees, you will get two nominees for two choices for Best Picture. And for that one, we will go 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1. Okay?
Sounds fair.
And then at the end, next week, when we get back together, we'll see how we all did. So we're going to start at the end of the nominations with visual effects. And the nominees are Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong, Skull Island, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Let's keep that order that I did for the mock. And Gary, you get to have the very first pick in the 2018 Oscars draft. Which movie will win Best Visual Effects?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I have seen four of these movies. The only one I haven't seen is War for Planet of the Apes. And I must say that of the ones that are left, I'm going to say Guardians, maybe not. Kong Skull Island was actually a fairly enjoyable movie.
It was. It really was.
It really was. It was surprisingly. It was
I know. Yeah.
Brainless. Don't ever think it. Just like watch the explosions and fights and stuff, and you're done. I'm gonna go with Blade Runner 2049.
Okay. Gary chooses Blade Runner. All right, so I'll pick second. So from those remaining ones, I would have gone with Blade Runner myself. So from those remaining, I will take. I think Blade Runner's going to walk away with it. I will go with War for the Planet of the Apes.
The apes
Something about effects and monkeys.
Yeah, they traditionally are very good with the special effects.
Oh yeah, awesome. Mocaps and all that kind of stuff is really good in that. All right, Keith, you got 3 left to choose from. What are you going to go with?
Well, you guys just took my first choice and backup. So I'm going to go with Kong because I think it's out of left field, but I think it's better than both Star Wars and Guardians. Not that the movies were bad, but the special effects were better, I think, in Kong.
Kong, the visual effects were the you talk about monkeys in movies. Kong, big monkey, so bigger effects.
Yeah,
right.
one big effect.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I'm going to put the number next to each of our choices to show where you had to pick from, so it doesn't look like if you came up with an off-the-wall pick, maybe it's because you had to go third, like Keith just did. All right, so costume.
Or you're just named Keith.
Yeah. So costume design.
My favorite category.
Yeah. The nominees for costume design are Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, and Victoria and Abdul. So we'll just kind of rotate it through. So I'll take the first pick on this one. I'm kind of leaning towards Beauty and the Beast. However, Phantom Thread is actually about the fashion industry, so I kind of think that's going to be a sentimental favorite. So I'm going to go with Phantom Thread as my pick. All right, Keith, you have the second pick for costume design.
Yeah, see, Beauty and the Beast, the costumes didn't blow me away. So, coming off the Disney version, the animated version, where everything was so crisp and clean, I just kind of wanted that to translate through, and it didn't. So I'm gonna do on my first of the off-the-wall picks because I really like the movie. Although I don't think the costume design was particularly amazing, I think Shape of Water might run away with some of these awards.
Now, that is one I have not seen.
It's
a very polarizing pick. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people hate it.
I'm nothing if not polarizing.
Yeah.
You are, definitely. This is great because you guys picked things that were not my first pick. I think Beauty and the Beast is. I didn't see the movie, but I kind of feel like that's been done. Yeah. It's also. I'm not picking that. Don't put my name in. Because it's been done, and it's also a very Caucasian movie.
Whoa!
Okay.
We might see a little bit of. Let's do something that's not a movie made for white America. So I'm going to go with Victoria and Abdul, and I think that's a very interesting story. And that's of these movies. This is one I really want to see, and I haven't had a chance yet. So that is going to be my pick for costumes.
Yeah, for those of you who have not watched our Oscar picks before, we tend to not just pick the ones that we think are the best and most deserving in each category, but rather we try to get into the minds of the uber elite progressive voters in Hollywood and what their sentimental or politically correct picks will be. So I think Gary is first on the board with that.
And also, I think that my wife saw Phantom Thread, and my oldest daughter, they saw it together, and they said it was an absolute horrible movie, and sad that they lost 2 years of their life. They loved Shape of Water. I think that most of those other movies are going to have mention for other things, but Victor and Abdul may not. So I think that this is where it will.
Interesting. All right. Moving on to makeup and hair.
Oh, are you telling me my first number one pick and I get makeup and hair?
Yeah. Well, it's costume design and visual effects. But
Well,
the good news is there's only 3 nominees, and Keith, you have the first pick. The nominees are Darkest Hour, Victoria and Abdul, and Wonder. What are you going to go with?
I don't care.
Sure. Yeah, you want to abstain and just take with the last pick? I'm more than willing to go ahead of you.
Wow. Wow. I don't know. Gary kind of sold me on the Victoria and Abdul thing, so I'm going to grab that because he made sense. And that's the only reason.
Okay.
Wonder and Darkest Hour left for you, Gary.
I have seen The Darkest Hour.
Mm-hmm.
And
and Wonder. I've seen Wonder too.
Those of us with teenagers know The Darkest Hour.
Yeah, I've seen it on a regular basis. I'm going to pick The Darkest Hour because I think it's nominated for a lot of big awards. I don't think it's going to win those awards.
Yeah. Well, I do think it will win some awards during the evening. I would have also chosen The Darkest Hour had Gary not. So I am left with Wonder, which is a fantastic film. And, heck, if it doesn't win anything else, maybe it'll get a sentimental nod for makeup and hair, because the makeup that they did for the main character was really, really good. So, all right, so we're now on to original song, and we're back into our first order. The nominees are Mighty River from Mudbound, Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name, Remember Me from Coco, Stand Up for Something from Marshall, and This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. Gary, you get the first pick.
Oh, it's back to me. First pick.
Yes.
I'm going to pick this because multiple family members saw this movie and I did not, and I kind of have no desire to, but they all thought it was a fabulous movie and they really enjoyed it and they liked the singer, and I'm just going to pick it because I don't think the movie's going to win anything else. So Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name.
All right.
I have not heard any of these songs at all.
I'm so glad that you picked that. My wife and I went to the movies on Monday with our wonderful movie pass and saw The Greatest Showman. And I will tell you that, hands down, This Is Me is going to win the Oscar for Best Original Song. So I'm picking This Is Me. Keith.
You're both insane because
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Jane, you ignorant slut. The only awards that Coco is going to get are going to come from weird ones like this. So you can count me in for Remember Me from Coco because the music throughout that movie is amazing. And if you close your eyes, you don't even realize it's happening.
So this is where being a dad of youngsters comes in handy because you've seen Coco.
Oh God, no! Oh. No, I don't go to movies.
He's heard the soundtrack.
He's making it up.
Of course, I'm making it up, but I stand by my pick.
All right. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to original score. This would be for the orchestral music for an entire film, and we have Dunkirk from Hans Zimmer, Phantom Thread from Johnny Greenwood, The Shape of Water from Alexandre Desplat, Star Wars The Last Jedi, he's back again, John Williams, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri by Carter Burwell. I have the first pick.
This is a
I would
tough
always love to have the perennial John Williams win an Oscar. He could win 50 Oscars in a row for all I care. But I'm going to go with The Shape of Water. Alexander Desplat.
You bastard.
Yeah. He is a new favorite of the Academy. He has won, I think, 2 already. And I don't believe The Shape of Water is going to win many other awards. So I think this is a good one to give him. So I'm going with The Shape of Water. Keith, you are number 2.
Got it.
I actually was going to pick The Shape of Water for almost the same reasons, although I think it's going to steal a lot of the lesser awards. But I think John Williams is long overdue, and they may just give it to him based on all past work instead of current, and go with The Last Jedi, John Williams.
He's won Oscars though for his past work.
Yeah, but nobody remembers it because they've been so long.
Okay. All right, Gary. Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, or 3 Billboards?
This is a tough one because all of these are very strong. The ones I've seen are very strong, which I guess is actually 2. But I gotta believe the other ones would be very good because Carter Burwell is very good composers and some pretty good soundtracks over the years. I should say scores. And God, I just cannot vote for anything for the Phantom Thread because that movie just looks so awful. I'm going to go with Dunkirk. I'm going to go with Dunkirk by Hans Zimmer. As why not? It's Hans Zimmer.
I was waffling between John Williams and Carter Burwell for 3 Billboards.
Yeah, so I know. That is a tough one.
I really expected you to pick 3 Billboards. You let me down.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to win the game here.
I understand, but I think you're going about it the wrong way.
The fast and furious competition.
I gave you guys original song. I let that one pass, even though I had first pick. So I got to go with this.
All right, our next category, ladies and gentlemen, in our draft is production design. Keith has the first pick, and your choices are Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water. What would you like, my friend?
This is actually a hard one.
It's not like we're on the clock here or anything.
I want to pick Blade Runner and I want to pick Shape of Water, and I was hoping one of you two would eliminate one for me.
You complained about getting the crap.
I know.
Now you got a really good one. This is a good award.
It's a good award, yeah.
I know it is, and I'm going to go with the Shape of the Water because I think
Shape of the Water.
The Shape of the Water, the water shaping.
Okay.
But man, I really want to pick Blade Runner because I think that's good too.
All right. Well, Gary, you have the second pick. Do you want to pick Blade Runner?
I get where Keith's coming from. This is really tough. Beauty and the Beast is that's there's
come on, yeah, that's
done.
That's an easy out. You don't want to do that.
So I've seen Blade Runner, I've seen Darkest Hour, and I've seen Dunkirk. And Blade Runner is tough because the production design takes after the first movie in so many ways and then extends it.
But that's why it's brilliant. That's why it's the pick.
But the Darkest Hour and Dunkirk take this, like, both of them are literally about the same moment in time, and they did very well. So I kind of feel like Blade Runner is going to be my choice in this one, only because they don't have anything to really base it on. They're making all this stuff up. Where the other two movies, they do have stuff to base it on. Because they have pictures and but film, and it's like people were there. In Blade Runner, no one's there, so you got to make this up.
Oh, you bastard! All right. So another great side benefit of MoviePass is that I have seen a lot of films this year, where in previous years I have not. So I have seen 4 of these 5, and I probably would have picked Blade Runner 2049 had it been left open to me. I would not have chosen Beauty and the Beast, kind of like, or mostly because I kind of feel that their production design was already done for them with the cartoon, and they just kind of morphed it into real life, which is, I'm sure, was some kind of an undertaking, and it was obviously very ornate and beautiful and a lot of CGI and all that kind of stuff. But
I mean, of the hundreds of movies that were released, they were in the top 6.
So the one I'm going to go with achieved a lot with very simplistic kind of sets, making you feel closed in, paranoid, kind of stressed, but it did it really simply. Darkest Hour is going to be my choice, and the way that they lit and did oh crap, what's the name of the governing body? Parliament. Why they did how they did the Parliament room, and for the meeting with the prime ministers, and the war room, and the palace, and those kinds of things. I think really were done very, very well. Understated, yes, for sure, but it really helped to produce that kind of internal struggle that Churchill had. So I'm going to go with Darkest Hour. I don't think it's going to win. I think Blade Runner will take it, but that's what my pick's going to be. All right. We're moving on to sound mixing. How do you mix your sounds? Gary, your choices. Yes. You go quick when you only have 3 hosts. Your choices are Baby Driver, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, and Star Wars The Last Jedi.
This might be the hardest pick of the night right here.
Ooh.
I agree.
It's really tough. Shape of Water is the only one of these I haven't seen, and all of them had fantastic sound mixing. I am gonna pick Dunkirk because that movie had probably, if you put all of the script, all of the dialogue onto as few pages as you can, it's probably one piece of paper front and back of dialogue in the whole movie. So the sound of that movie was really in everything that they did to mix in, the battle scenes and everything else. And it was a fantastic movie that told a story with a minimal amount of dialogue, which means that the sound mixing had to step up and be the storytelling. And in that movie, it really was.
Once again, Gary is still in my pick. I will choose a dark horse. I have not seen this film, but from everything that I've read about it and heard about it, it did an excellent job of kind of mixing the sound of the engine, the car, the tires, the music, balancing it out all very, very well. I've heard that the sound in Baby Driver is incredible. So I'm going to choose Baby Driver.
I was actually going between those two. Those were my 2 picks. One of those 2.
Well, those were my 2 picks too. So congrats, you guys, on get one of you winning, because that's what's going to happen for sound mixing. The only one left that has any kind of interesting mixing to it left is The Shape of Water, because I think the effects of the water itself are augmented perfectly by the sound mixing that goes with it. But I don't think it's enough to overcome Dunkirk or Baby Driver, and I think Dunkirk's going to pull it. I think Gary made the right choice.
Keith does such a good job on bullshitting movies he hasn't seen.
Oh, yes.
All right.
I got
this far in life.
I got to make a comment, though. Okay, so this podcast hosts, all 3 of us are arguably Star Wars fanboys. Star Wars has been nominated for several of these awards, and we are like shunning it.
No, I picked John Williams.
I guess so. It just feels like
I did.
I guess it just speaks to the fact that we are not just picking our favorites.
Right.
No.
We have integrity. That's what it is.
I think what I would say, though, Gary, is that for each category that it has been nominated for, there's a better film for that category.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I thought the music for Star Wars: The Last Jedi, for example, was good, I didn't think it was one of the more memorable Star Wars soundtracks I've ever heard.
See, and I thought of the new generation of Star Wars movie that it was the better one.
I would agree with that, but I don't know if it's the best one.
Yeah. So not to be confused with sound mixing, the next category is sound editing. How it remixes the actors when they do the ADR, which is the additional dialogue recording, and kind of blends that over the sound of the the effects or whatever. It's just a tiny little bit different.
But isn't this also include like the effects themselves? So
Yes.
sound mixing is the overall blend of it.
Correct.
Where sound editing is where they're creating noises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
don't exist.
we have Baby Driver, Blade Runner, same ones. Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, and Star Wars. So my pick, I'm going first. I think that this is where Shape of Water gets its Oscar.
You may be right about that.
So I'm gonna go with Shape of Water. Keith, pick number 2.
Okay, so you took Shape of Water out of the mix, and I do think that might be one of the ones where it is. But I'm looking at this as sound editing is where are you creating new noises that don't exist that fit the movie. So taking Shape of Water out, that leaves me with Blade Runner, where I think they do an excellent job of maybe creating some new noises, as well as Star Wars. And I think Blade Runner is due for bigger things, so I think they might have given the nod to Star Wars on this one. So I'm going to pick Star Wars, The Last Jedi.
I was actually going to pick Star Wars for this one.
Just to prove a point.
I stole it from you.
Not to prove a point, because I actually, as I was watching that movie, I was noticing how cool the sounds were, and like the way they did Kylo Ren's voice, which I know has been done before, but in this movie it had more presence, and just a lot of things in that movie. I feel like Star Wars kind of gets a little bit of is coming from a position of they have to make up more ground, because people think, oh well, the Star Wars, they already have all that stuff, right? They got decades of Star Wars sounds. They just have to kind of refresh them for the new movie. But I thought that they really did a good job with the sound of Star Wars. I think
in general, Star Wars and the associated companies around it really excel at sound editing and sound mixing in general.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for a nod.
Yeah. So damn you, Keith. Yeah, this is really hard between all of these things, and I guess I'll go Baby Driver on this one, just to not do too much with Blade Runner. Baby Driver did some pretty cool things with sound in that movie, and sound was kind of the focus of that movie, so they had to be very cool. And I'm gonna just leave it at that and move on.
Okay. Film editing is our next category, and Keith is going to get the first pick of these 5 nominees. Once again, Baby Driver. Once again, Dunkirk. New Arrival, I, Tonya. The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. What's going to win, Keith, for film editing?
I think 3 Billboards is due, but not for film editing. So I'm going to go back to my old favorite, the divisive Shape of Water, for film editing.
Okay. All right. Gary, you have pick number 2.
This is where I should have consulted the ladies in my life, because I have not seen Shape of Water. I can't pick it now anyway, because Keith picked it. Yeah. This is another really, really, really tough one, but I am going to go with Baby Driver.
That was the top. Yeah, that was the one I was waffling between.
A lot of fast sequences.
This is one of those situations where I want Shape of Water to win for some stuff, but I think Baby Driver might. So,
see, this is where you guys are idiots. So, I was hoping and praying. The second time tonight, I had the 3rd pick, and I was like, please don't pick my movie. And it fell to me. I'm so happy, because the very same reasons that that Gary was talking about Dunkirk winning the Oscar for sound mixing, which is what I would have chosen for sound mixing. The very same reason, because it's using sound to tell a story with very little dialogue. That's why it's going to win for film editing, telling the story with very little dialogue and just visuals. Yeah. You have not only the difficulty, the monumental difficulty of shooting a battle or war movie, which is always challenging, but you're doing that also with so little dialogue to tie the scenes together.
Yeah.
And to provide a kind of a plot drive towards the finish. So instead, you have to rely on the visuals and the sound to tell that story, be characters for you. So without a doubt, Dunkirk is going to win the Oscar for film editing.
I cannot argue with that logic. I mean,
it's phenomenal. It's just a gorgeous movie and so well put together. Fantastic. All right. So I think the next few categories will probably be able to rifle through pretty quickly because we don't know anything about them. We're going into the foreign language, the documentary short subjects, the live action short films, all the stuff that we haven't seen and probably don't even know what they are. And the great thing is Gary has the first pick for Best Foreign Language Film. The nominees are A Fantastic Woman from Chile, The Insult from Lebanon, Loveless from Mother Russia, On Body and Soul from Hungary, and The Square from Sweden.
Wow. So we're basing. I'm going first on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has got to be worse than hair and makeup, Keith.
I don't know. Coming from a guy who has neither hair nor makeup, I don't know.
Maybe you should.
You count your back.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Since I am married to a fantastic woman, I must pick that movie.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, the suck-up pick. Nice.
That's as good a reason as any, I suppose.
Nice ploy. Except she doesn't watch, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. The Academy loves Middle Eastern films. Loves them with a passion.
That's why I picked
Often loves to award them that's not a Middle Eastern movie, but all right. Perhaps the one you actually meant to select is going to be the winner, which is The Insult from Lebanon.
Well, there's really only one choice left to me, and really only one choice from the beginning, and On Body and Soul, because it sounds hot, and I'm hungry. So I'm picking On Body and Soul from Hungary.
I think it suffices to say also that the Academy, as angry as they are following the 2016 election, is not going to give anything to Russia.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I think there might be something related to Russia that gets an Oscar.
Ooh, foreshadowing. We move on to Best Live Action Short Film. The nominees are DeKalb Elementary, The 11 O'Clock, My Nephew Emmett, The Silent Child, Watu Wrote, All of Us.
All of us.
Watu Wrote All of Us. So my pick is going to be the one with the name, because we all fall in love with the name, and I'm assuming that Watu Wote is a child or some destitute refugee or something like that. So that's a sentimental pick. So I'm going to go with Watu Wote All of Us for my choice. Keith, number 2.
Well, knowing as much as I do about this category, that I'm going to pick for the one thing that I really want.
The Silent Child. Perfect.
That's pretty funny. And since we are pretty much childish here, I'm going to go for the elementary school one.
Oh.
And pick that.
Education, yeah.
We all can do some education.
We'll see. I mean, we don't care, but we'll see. Best documentary short subject nominees are Edith and Eddie, Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405, Heroin E, Knife Skills, and Traffic Stop. And first pick is Keith.
Documentary. I have a place in my heart for a good documentary. I really enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to them enough, but I think some of my favorite documentaries have always been around food. And I think the only one I can pick out of this that I know would be food related is Knife Skills. So I'm going to go with Knife Skills on a best educated guess for what I like to see in a documentary.
Okay.
And again, I'm hungry.
The inspiring story of a classic French restaurant and the formerly incarcerated people who've made it succeed. So you've got food and former inmates. Feel good story. So not a bad pick, Keith. All right, Gary, you have choice number 2.
I know nothing about any of these except that Traffic Stop is on HBO streaming and I can watch it. So I probably will before Sunday. So I'm going to pick that.
Traffic Stop. Okay. All right. So political causes and themes are always a big draw. And I know that one of the big subjects during the 2016 election was the opioid addiction that we have in some of the mountain regions and Northeast and New England areas and all that kind of thing. And while this is not about opioids, Heroin E is the story of an Appalachian city that's threatened with addiction, lawlessness, and poverty. So it kind of gives you a threefer. So you can't beat a good drug documentary. So I'm going to go with Heroin E. My choice. Sorry, Edith and Eddie. Okay. So we're moving through the documentaries, and the last one is Best Documentary Feature. This will be a full-length feature. The nominees are Abacus, Small Enough to Jail, Faces Places, Icarus, Last Men in Aleppo, and Strong Island. Gary, we're back to the top. Your choice.
Yeah, this is actually hard for me because I've seen about half of Icarus, a little more than half. And it's a very compelling movie that deals with the Russian doping in the Olympics. And I think it could have a chance because of what it's exposing about Russia and that whole system. For kind of the same reasons you were talking about not giving anything to Russia. This is not painting a good picture of it. And it's on Netflix, so you can watch it. Same with Last Men in Aleppo. It's also on Netflix. But I'm going to pick Strong Island because why not?
Okay.
That's it.
There you go.
Oh, great. Last Men in Aleppo.
I thought you picked Strong Island.
Oh, I'm sorry. He did pick Strong Island.
I did.
I was thinking he was a different person. Okay, so I got number 2 here. Let's see. I'm going to go with Faces Places. It takes place in France. I like France.
France is
So,
nice.
And it rhymes.
Yeah.
Keith.
Faces Places. Oh, Keith hasn't picked yet?
No, I haven't yet.
He's last.
See, I think I want to pick Icarus, and I think it would be fueled by the recent Olympics and stuff in there. But I think the picks have already been made, and the Olympics is too late. So being that when I think the choices were made, I think Aleppo might have been more in forefront.
It is a Middle Eastern documentary, so
I think that has more buzz around it. I think if they were voting now, then Icarus would have been the thing, but they're not voting now. They've already voted.
You know, I got to say that I believe that I picked a movie that is probably not going to win because It's a
Oh
Netflix movie.
man.
So, Strong Island, Last Man in Aleppo, and Icarus are Netflix movies. Right?
Crap. Oh, Keith, I should have read what that movie was about.
What?
Oh man, I think he's got
Aleppo?
it. Okay,
Yeah.
because you got the Syrian Civil War.
Oh yeah.
Middle Eastern. That's the the kids are being hit by chemical weapon. It's about the volunteer group called the White Helmets who are helping to aid the wounded during the Syrian Civil War. So it's refugees. It's Middle Eastern strife. Oh, it's got everything going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice job. All right. Okay, we're getting back into the big categories. And we're going to kind of...
This is where the big ones happen.
Yeah. So cinematography, Blade Runner 2049, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Mudbound, and The Shape of Water. Thank God I have the first pick because this, I think, is a pretty easy one. I shouldn't say pretty easy, but I think it's going to be... It's easy for me to pick. Blade Runner 2049 was beautifully shot. It's just a... while I may have to watch the film another 15 times and actually understand it, it was beautiful to look at. So I think it's a no-brainer for me. I would choose Dunkirk, but I think the cinematography in Blade Runner 2049 is pretty freaking cool. So that's my choice. Keith, number 2.
Shape of Water, hands down.
Okay.
No discussion. None needed.
All right. Ooh, Gary.
I'm going to go Darkest Hour for all the reasons that Rob said, because they did a lot with shooting that movie in a lot of closed spaces and made it work really well.
Yeah. Okay. The original screenplay. We've got the nominees are The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Keith, you have the first selection.
I think this is where 3 Billboards rears its head finally. After being snubbed at all the lower ones, it's going to start taking some of these bigger ones, and I think this screenplay is one of those. Yeah.
All right. Gary.
I really want Lady Bird to win this one.
That was almost my pick.
I really want this is where I want Lady Bird to win because it was... especially if you have teenage daughters. That is such a good movie. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Get Out will win.
Get Out will win. Interesting.
And I've seen Get Out, and I've seen Lady Bird.
I keep meaning to watch that. Is it a really good movie?
It's a different movie. Yeah. And I think because of that is why it's going to win, and it's got a little bit of social stuff in it.
Yeah,
but the social stuff is not preachy. It's just sort of it's almost like overdone and very comedic in a movie that is not a comedy.
Yeah. So I probably would have gone 3 Billboards had I had the choice, as I think it's probably the favorite, and it's not going to win maybe other awards it's nominated for. Yeah, but I'm going to go with The Big Sick.
Oh, interesting.
My wife told me about this film, and she really enjoyed it. It was very, very funny, very, very sad. So it deals with a lot of things. You've got the clashing of cultures with, Western versus Pakistani. I think it's Pakistani. Yeah, Pakistani. So there's a racist element in there, and kind of the getting used to each other, mixing of cultures. There's cancer and dying and comedy all mixed in, and it's about a guy who's in Hollywood, and Hollywood loves to award movies that are about them. So I think Big Sick is going to take it if I have to choose. So which I do.
Okay.
Adapted screenplay. So this is an original. This is a story that was adapted to the movie. We have Call Me by Your Name, The Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound. The first selection is Gary.
I am going to pick a movie I haven't seen in this. I've seen Logan. I was not as impressed with that as other people were. Molly's Game was a very, very entertaining movie and done very well. But I don't think they're going to get. I think this is going to go to Mudbound.
It's a tough one for me.
Molly's Game would be my second choice if it helps.
They love Aaron Sorkin. They love Aaron Sorkin. Logan was so freaking good. If you have not seen Logan, it's so different from any other superhero movie you've ever seen. So it's really, really good. I think though they're going to go with The Disaster Artist. This is the one that they give to this movie that's kind of been like a cult favorite in Hollywood, especially. So I'm going to go with Disaster Artist.
I'm a huge fan of Aaron Sorkin, and so is he. So
sure.
I'm definitely there.
Molly's Game.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's about poker. Animated short. Dear Basketball. Garden Party.
I saw these last weekend.
Great. Dear Basketball. Garden Party. Lou. Negative Space. And Revolting Rhymes. I have the first pick, and I have no freaking idea. So I'll go with the reverse psychology. Negative Space. So easy to choose. It's easy. That's no problem. All right, Keith, pick number 2.
Oh man, this is
Lou is a Pixar movie.
Such a close set of stuff. These are all so very, very good. But ultimately, I think Revolting Rhymes is gonna walk away with it.
All right.
Damn you.
Because who doesn't like a good Revolting?
That's great.
Rhyme?
So Gary's actually seen most of these, and he gets.
I know. I've seen all of them. And
all right. Wow.
The 2 I would have picked were Revolting Rhymes because I want Revolting Rhymes to win, and Negative Space because I think it will win.
Yeah.
And, so Dear Basketball, it's way too self-serving and just look how great I am thing. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. Garden Party had the best animation, but I just didn't like the story very much. And Lou is a Pixar movie, which is, Pixar does great things. It's a very entertaining, very endearing, it kind of jerks at your heartstrings a little bit, kind of as they do in their shorts movie. So I got to pick Lou only because I just really would not want either of the other 2 to win. But I really think that Negative Space will pull it out.
All right, we're closing in on the end here. Animated feature. The Boss Baby. The Breadwinner. Coco. Ferdinand. And Loving Vincent. Keith, you get the first pick for animated feature.
I've actually seen The Boss Baby, and I think it's better than most people give it credit for. But it's not going to win anything. So throw that away. I think Coco, because of the music, because of the animation, because of the story, is going to walk away with this.
Okay. And
if it doesn't, a crime has happened.
Yeah, I would have chosen Coco had it been open to me. So I instead will go with Ferdinand as my second choice.
Ferdinand's cute, but I don't think it's enough.
How come I got the third choice twice in a row?
Oh, did I do that wrong? Keith should have chosen first. I should have chosen third. That's right. You're right. I should have chosen third. My mistake. You choose. Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to take Ferdinand?
I could care less about any of these movies because I think Coco's
so why are you making a big deal about it? All right, come on. What do you want?
I don't want to be cheated out of my opportunity.
I screwed up. Well, you picked it up. So now what do you want?
I'll pick the Breadwinner.
Okay. I will go with Coco, or Ferdinand, I mean.
No, you can't take Coco. I already took it.
Damn. I can take what I want. All right. Director. Best Director. The nominees are Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan. Get Out, Jordan Peele. Ladybird, Greta Gerwig. Phantom Thread, Paul Thomas Anderson. And The Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro. Gary, your pick first.
This is a really hard one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is really hard.
This is
as opposed to all the ones I say are really hard that aren't. This is legit hard.
Well, Phantom Thread, just drop that one off automatically. That's just, I cannot see why that movie was even made.
It's Daniel Day-Lewis's last movie. That's what we're told.
That would be nice. All of these have really redeeming qualities about them. I haven't seen The Shape of Water, which makes it very difficult.
It's Del Toro, though. I mean, come on.
I know, and I kind of feel like I would pick it just because it's him. And Christopher. Oh, man, this is really hard. Can I defer to you guys? I'll go with Lady. I'm going to go with Lady
Bird. The female director pick is really a no-brainer.
Son of a.
Yeah.
It's the year of Me Too.
Absolutely.
She's the only woman nominated. She's going to win the award.
Right.
I'm nothing disparaging about Lady Bird, but we know that the Academy votes on issues and on feeling.
Yep. I agree.
She's going. Oh, I thought you were steering towards another one.
I really liked Lady Bird. Out of all of these movies that are there, it is my favorite movie.
Not only is it a good movie,
it's my favorite.
Yeah, it's the only female, and they're going to do
all
it.
Right. So I'm going to go. I'm basically just throwing a dart at the wall, so I'll take The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro.
Well, shit, that was going to be my backup pick. So now I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me go with the pandering Paul Thomas Anderson for The Phantom Thread.
No, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't throw it away.
It's down.
It's
written.
You got to at least do Jordan Peele.
So it is written. So shall it be done.
It is.
I think Jordan Peele's got a shot.
Because if Lady Bird doesn't win, Shape of Water will. So I mean, it's the fact that there's even a third pick is silly.
I actually think Jordan Peele is the second place in this one.
All right, guys.
It doesn't matter.
Supporting actress. I've got the first pick on this one. Mary J. Blige for Mudbound. Allison Janney for I, Tonya. Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread. Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird. And Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water. Now, any other year, I think Laurie Metcalf would be a cinch because the Hollywood loves Laurie Metcalf. They loved her since Roseanne and everything little quirky stuff that she does, they would pick her. However, as much as they love Laurie Metcalf, they adore Allison Janney that much more. And from what I've heard, I have not seen I, Tonya, but I hear her performance is unbelievable. So Allison Janney will win her first Oscar for I, Tonya.
You bastard.
Yes. Keith, pick number 2.
Well, based on Rob's speech, I should just pick Laurie Metcalf and get it over with. But I'm not gonna.
Ooh.
I'm going out on a limb because for me, I could close my eyes and listen to this person all night long. And that's Mary J. Blige.
Okay. Great.
So, I, Tonya, Allison Janney was phenomenal in I, Tonya.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that she walks away with this. So I'm going to go with Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird because that would be my second choice.
And she's supposedly really good in Lady Bird too.
She is really good in Lady Bird. Maybe I just saw I, Tonya on Sunday, so it's really fresh in my mind. So maybe that's what.
Supporting actor Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project. Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards. Richard Jenkins, The Shape of Water. Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World. Sam Rockwell, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. The first pick belongs to Mr. Keith Allen Seifert.
Well, I'm just a longtime fan of this actor, and I think 3 Billboards is due for another pick, and I'm going to choose Woody Harrelson.
For his first Academy Award.
I think he's due.
Wow. All right, Gary.
Yeah, that's good logic. I haven't seen any of these, so it's really hard to say. I'm going to go with Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water, as it's not going to win a bunch of other stuff, and I think this might be it.
I think, Keith, the thing you're forgetting is that actors nominated for the same film tend to split votes.
That's probably true.
I am going to go with an actor who was brought in literally at the last minute. This is the Me Too year, and one Kevin Spacey was portraying this supporting actor in All the Money in the World. He's playing J. Paul Getty. He, of course, had some difficulties, as we all know and love, or I shouldn't say all know and love, but we all know about.
We all know and he loved.
And
you love it. That's not me.
With I think there was 2 weeks, 17 days before the release date, Christopher Plummer came in and they did all of Kevin Spacey's scenes, and everyone said his performance was unbelievable. So that being said, I think, and I don't believe Christopher Plummer has any Oscars, although he's due. I've had the luxury of working with Christopher Plummer before at a singing engagement where he was the narrator, and he's a really wonderful gentleman. So I'm going to go with Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World.
That's a solid pick.
Yeah. All right, we've got 3 categories left. Lead actress: Sally Hawkins, The Shape of Water; Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards; Margot Robbie for I, Tonya; Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird; Meryl Streep, The Post. Gary.
Oh, I get this one?
Yes, you
this is
do.
great, because I've seen I, Tonya, I've seen Lady Bird, I've seen The Post. Meryl Streep was good, but she's not going to get it this year. It was not a not in the top of her repertoire, I would say. It would be really fun if Saoirse Ronan won the award for Lady Bird, but Margot Robbie and I, Tonya, playing Tonya Harding, was so good in that movie. So I'm gonna pick Margot Robbie.
Gary, you ignorant slut. I thought for sure you were going to pick the winner, but you didn't.
I did.
That's crazy talk. Her performance was great, but let's face it, you have a distraught mother trying to stick it to the man, to stick it to the police. You can't get more Hollywood than that. Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards, that's a no-brainer.
I think it's too obvious.
Oh, that's easy.
Nothing's too obvious after Hollywood is still reeling from the fact that they picked Nothing Black a few years ago.
Yeah, so, Keith, is that your pick? Would that have been your pick as well?
That would have been my pick, and Margot Robbie would have been another of my picks. So I'm stuck with Sally Hawkins for Shape of Water, which is a long shot at best.
Lead actor: Timothée Chalamet for Call Me by Your Name; Daniel Day-Lewis, The Phantom Thread; Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out. I think I got that spelled or pronounced right. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour; and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Ezreal, Esquire. And this pick is mine. I think everyone would say that the sentimental choice, because it's his last film, which I don't believe for a minute, for Daniel Day-Lewis. But I'm going to go with the Golden Globe winner on this one. Gary Oldman's performance in Darkest Hour was fan-freaking-tastic. I
thought that might make it to me.
His entire career has been performances where I forget he's Gary Oldman. And I think he's finally due for an Oscar. I don't think he's ever won. I know he's been nominated a couple times for like supporting actor. So I think this one is going to go to him. So Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour is my choice. But Keith, you get pick number 2.
Yeah, I don't know what to do now.
You can go with Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, come on. Who would be surprised if he won?
That's honestly an easy pick, but
he's not going to win.
I don't like The Phantom Thread.
They like to gift awards, though.
So I'm going to go with the foreign pick. I'm going to go with Timothée.
Okay, and that is that's a kind of a coming out movie, and it's got a very politically charged. So you may have something there.
Yeah, I actually that would have been probably my choice. Gary Oldman. We got to talk about Gary Oldman. I agree. He's a fantastic actor, and he deserves an Oscar.
Isn't he dead?
Nope.
Didn't he die?
Nope.
Because that would have just ensured it.
I think I was maybe
Posthumous.
freeloading too much for this one, and that I was expecting too much, because I kind of thought it was overdone.
Darkest Hour.
I thought that he was overdoing it. Like it was overacted. That was my sense of him. It's a fantastic movie. He did a great job portraying it, but it was just a little too much screaming and slobbering all over the place for me.
Have you seen Churchill speak?
So maybe he nailed it.
Spat all over the place. All right, what's your choice?
Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out.
Kaluuya for Get Out. Oh.
I think he's got a really good chance. I mean, I think that's a solid nomination.
All right,
did a great job in that movie.
All right, guys, it's time for the big time. It's Best Picture. Keith, you kind of held your tongue and bid your time, and you actually get first choice, but that also means you get last choice, because that's right, guys. You're getting 2 picks for Best Picture. The nominees are Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Keith, what will be your first choice for Best Picture?
3 Billboards.
Okay, interesting.
All right. Gary, you have pick number 2.
I think we're done with war films. I think 3 Billboards is going to take it.
I get number 2.
Yeah.
I am gonna go with Lady Bird.
Yeah. Now, let me say that before we can make these picks, your first pick can be the one that is red, and then your second pick can be the one that actually gets the award this year.
Oh, well, there's a wrinkle.
It's the Moonlight Rule. It's the new Moonlight Rule.
I knew that show was going to go big.
Yeah. So my pick, I get 2 in a row. Gotta make it count.
Just take the pair. Get it over
Yeah,
with.
you got it.
Darkest Hour and Dunkirk.
Yeah, you got to pick the double Ds.
It's the World War II 2-pack. No, I'm gonna go with, for my first choice. This is tough. I'm gonna go with. This sucks. Picking third actually sucks. Shit balls. All right, I'm gonna go with The Shape of Water. My first pick.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're picking
I don't
that.
want to pick it, but I think and I need to get it on the board.
According
And then my second.
to the people that I know that have seen it, it is a very strong contender.
Oh yeah, I think it's the best film of the year.
And then my second choice is going to. I would love
too nerdy to be Best Picture.
I would love to give it to Dunkirk, but I don't think they'll go for that, because they're shying away from more movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'll go with Call Me by Your Name.
Oh
wow, very aggressive picks for you, Rob.
Yeah, I have to be aggressive because I didn't get my first choices. I would have chosen 3 Billboards. I think that's going to win, so I had to choose some out there's. All right, Gary, your second choice.
So now now I'm deciding between the World War II movies.
The D's.
The D's.
Or you can go with Get Out. I was thinking about Get Out.
You know, Get Out was good, and it deserves a nomination. I think to me, it's I don't count that Phantom Thread as anything. Like I said, I don't think that movie should have been made. So that's not even in my vocabulary at this point. But Get Out, it was good, but I'm gonna go with Dunkirk.
Okay. All right, Keith, wrap it up.
Man, I really thought I'd get to pick Shape of Water as my second choice. I didn't think you would go for it.
You are drunk, aren't you?
I know. I need to be more drunk to make this pick now.
part of my pick strategy was actually taking that away from you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that was a brilliant move on your part.
Thank you.
Probably might have even won you the game.
Strategy.
I really don't think the war games are going to go anywhere. And I think Phantom Thread just sucks. So it's between the Post, which I don't know, and Get Out. So I guess I'm going to pick Get Out.
Okay.
I would pick Get Out over the Post.
All right. And just for some quick tiebreakers, I know we're running long, and you can go through these really quickly. Some prop bets, if you look at the second tab. What color will the carpet leading into the auditorium be? Is it going to be red, or it'll be any other color? Keith, what do you say?
Red.
Gary.
Red.
And I will choose red as well. You know what? I'll choose anything else, just to be fun. What color will the dress of the best actress be? Winner be? Keith.
Black and sparkly.
Black. Gary.
So be specific.
I'm going to say a shade of blue.
Black, sparkly. Gary. Blue. I'm also going to go. I'm going to go with black, but I'm going to go with plain black because I believe they're doing a political statement this year. It's the Me Too movement thing is black. Name anyone who makes the Vogue best dressed. Now, who cares about that? The opening monologue will include how many Trump jokes? 0, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 10, or it's just one long Trump joke. Gary, you pick the first. You pick this one first.
I'm going to go with 3 to 5.
Okay, Gary says 3 to 5. Keith?
It's one long Trump joke.
Yeah, that's my choice too. There we go. Keith and Rob. How many times will the Moonlight snafu be mentioned during the show? 0, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, more than that. I'll pick this one first. I'll say more than that. Gary?
3 to 5.
Keith?
I will think they only bring it up once, but they will bring up Bruce Willis to accept a special award on its behalf.
That's funny. Which actor or actress will give the longest acceptance speech? Keith, what do you think?
Longest? Oh,
I guess you have to choose from actors that you've chosen to win, or you think will win. You can choose who you think will win.
Actor or actress? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Timothée because I don't know him, but he's gonna be in a foreign accent, so they'll just let him go.
Okay. Gary, who gives the longest acceptance speech?
Frances McDormand.
And since we're not doing a draft in this one, I can double up, so I will say Frances McDormand also. Will anyone cry during an acceptance speech? Does anyone say no?
Absolutely, someone will cry.
Yeah. So we're all in the
all of them.
Yeah. So let's forget that one.
Everyone will cry.
Which foreign country is the first to receive an Oscar?
Chile.
Okay. I'm going to say Lebanon.
Well, Hungary, because I still am.
Yeah. How many minutes will the show go over? I'm going to say that it will actually be on time. Because they've been doing much better in recent years with getting the shows done on time. Gary?
I'm going to stick with 3 to 5.
5 minutes. Okay. Keith?
22 minutes because of the one long Trump joke.
All right. And finally, do you have any bold predictions? Anything startling that will happen at the Oscars?
Yes.
What?
There will be a power outage.
A power outage.
Power outage in the theater.
Wow.
They will think at first it's a possible terrorist attack, but it's not.
Okay.
They just didn't replace
Bruce Willis.
I'm gonna go with wardrobe malfunction.
Okay.
Plumbers.
Any Christopher Plummer has a wardrobe.
Yeah, he has actual plumbers.
Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna say. This may not be considered a bold prediction, but I do think it's a saucy prediction. I believe that they will need to use the whatchamacallit, bleep button more than a dozen times.
Oh, wow.
During the opening monologue.
It's not even a bleep button. It's just kind of cut the audio button because you just won't hear it, but you just hear like a dead audio for a second.
Yeah.
That's my bold prediction.
All right.
All right. So, gentlemen, last thoughts about Henhouse.
Yep, we got to get
Ratings?
our ratings in.
Fantastic beer. I'm a big fan of pale ales anyway, and these new hoppier pale ales are a good choice. One of my favorite ones over the winter, seasonal over the winter, was Genesee did a single hop, single malt series, and it was also good. So I like this a lot. I think what do we rate on 10 now? I think
always
this is an 8.
Okay, Gary.
I'm going to go with a 9. This is a great pale ale. It gives you kind of everything you want out of a nice juicy IPA with just a little bit less alcohol, but still feels like you're getting a very full and rich beer. So I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah, so this is not a pale ale, despite the appearances. It's an IPA. Know that going in. We've had some lower alcohol content IPAs before. That doesn't sway me. So that having been said, that it doesn't. I mean, the hops suck, and I hate them. But there is a nice blend to the flavors, and it's not so overpowering that it just destroys me. So I'll give it a 6.
Wow, that is really impressive.
I grade it for what it is. I mean, the only reason I'm knocking it down, by the way, Gary, is not because I dislike the beer, which I do, but I'm knocking it down because it's not a pale ale. It does not taste like a pale ale at all.
I'll give you that. I had thought you would give it a 2, so
no.
A 6 is outstanding. And we should note that we are well beyond the date that they recommend drinking this by.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
So that's part of the reason why I gave it a little bump. So anyway, 7.6 average. That's respectable.
Pretty good. So give Henhouse Stoked Pale Ale a try, according to the guys on the PNR show. Watch the Oscars, see how the guys do on their picks, and make your own picks. Contact us, PNRShow@gmail.com. You've seen all the other places we have our contacts listed. Talk about Slack chat, Twitter, all that kind of good stuff. You know where to find it. Thanks for listening. Keith's going to play the music out. He's not either. You don't have music ready?
The iPad I was using to do the soundboard, the battery just died. Literally, as you were saying, Keith's going to play the music out, it shut down.
Nice.
It's my
That's good.
wardrobe malfunction for the week.
Rather have longer than life. Done. All right. Good evening, guys. Oscar, win me an award. Oscar.